Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast on the attraction entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we return to you with new content this week.
Yes.
Yes, finally. We're not doing a live recording. We're going to get all that in just a minute. But yes, this is a new episode. So after what happened last week, which we'll discuss in a minute, we're glad to know we're both back. Crystal is alive and well and sitting across from me.
Yeah.
She's not just a ghost or anything, though that would be really kick-ass for a show called Haunt Weekly.
It would.
But that is not what is happening right now. We are actually giving you new content this week as we discuss our favorite episodes, specifically from the last 100 for the most part.
Yes.
So there's going to be some fudging with that in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But on that note, definitely, when we talk about these episodes, check out the previous episodes. They are in the queue. You can find them at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/hauntweekly is the YouTube channel, and that's the easiest way to access all the fine, wonderful episodes we're going to be mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Search for them there. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts from. And normally, for reasons we'll get into, not this week, but normally, join us Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. As we record these episodes live, you get to be a part of the show. It is a lot of fun. So yes, indeed. So, a lot happened this week.
Yeah.
That's kind of an understatement. Last week, we did not do a new episode. What I did is I recorded a short intro, and we put episode 200 up, which actually was kind of perfect, because we're referencing episode 200 a fair amount here.
Right.
Because it was the last time we did our favorite episodes.
Yes, and since we didn't get our 300th episode, where we probably would have done this.
Yeah, we've done something similar at least. This is our way of making amends. However, we were going to record on Monday on that one. Life has been a little crazy. We were working on the yard display and doing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So we were going to record the day of posting, which is something we normally don't do.
Right.
But we were going to do it then. And then, unfortunately, Crystal was involved in a very serious automobile accident. So yeah, we couldn't do the recording on Monday, thus the retro episode. But yeah, she was involved in an accident. Now, just to get all the key points of the accident out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
First, she's okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, she is here. She is fine. We have x-rays from Friday, which confirm no permanent damage was done. She's stiff. She's sore. She's got some nasty bruising.
Yeah.
But she is going to be completely fine.
Yeah.
Is the good news. She's tough as hell, and it shows.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a tough bird. The car is fucked, on the other hand.
Yes.
The car is knackered.
Yes, we are looking for a new car.
We're in the looking... So yes, leave your suggestions for what car we should buy. We're specifically seeking cars that can carry 10-foot PVC and 8-foot 2x4s and a fuck ton of pool noodles.
Yes, and unfortunately not a hearse.
Not a hearse right now. We need something that's also functional for day-to-day. We want a hearse as an addition to.
Right.
This, but this cannot be the hearse, because hearses have a bunch of issues with them that make them kind of impractical as the daily driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, the car's knackered. The car's fucked. Crystal was not at fault, to be 100% clear on this, because people will ask. She was going straight down a road, the main road even.
Yeah. And
some dude trying to cross the road decided that Crystal's completely visible white Kia with headlights on and everything didn't exist.
Yeah. And
smashed into it trying to dart across a 4-lane highway with a divided median.
Yeah. So essentially 5 lanes of traffic. If you just stopped in the median, we would have been fine.
Yeah, and this whole episode, you would have gone, you would have bought a lovely dress.
Yes.
You would have come home, we would have finished the yard display.
Yes.
And it would have been a lovely fucking day, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would have been.
The main issue we have now is the insurance company is kind of dicking us a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's not so much their fault. The other dude is refusing to give a statement. He's just ducking their calls.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're waiting for the police report to put this shit to bed. The police report will be available in about a week from when this episode goes live. We'll have it then. And hopefully we'll be able to get the rest of this settled. You know, we've been bending hell and high water to get Crystal the health care she needs, which has been more difficult than it should have been.
Yeah. I mean, why won't you take my money? I just want to make sure that I'm okay.
Yeah, we're just trying to make sure there's no permanent damage and get her a steroid pack and whatever painkiller she needs.
Yeah.
We're not trying to fuck with anyone here. We're just trying to make sure she's okay and is functioning. She's actually scheduled to go back to work tomorrow for regular.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. But yeah, this has fucked up everything Halloween related for us. We were working on the art display. In fact, the plan was we'd work Sunday.
Yeah.
We had a really good start Sunday. We made a lot of good progress Sunday.
We did.
And what we were going to do is we went to bed. We're like, yeah, we're going to start working Monday. You were going to go across town and buy a dress that you wanted.
Yeah.
And then come back and like we'd eat lunch. And the rest of the day into the night would be working on that yard display.
Exactly.
That was the plan. And that was plenty of time to actually finish the fucker.
It was.
It was actually plenty of time. We made such good progress. Realistically, those 8 or 9 hours we would have put into it probably would have been enough.
Yeah, I think so.
But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And then fortunately, further, the yard display has been untouched in the past week.
Yeah. Because
Crystal's not felt well, and frankly, I haven't wanted to fuck with it. So, and I've got a broke foot that I'm still kind of dealing with.
So it's up in the air right now.
What we're going to do.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to finish it for Halloween. I would like to have the walkthrough of the yard with trick-or-treaters. That's my hope.
That is my hope.
But it may not be practical.
It may not be practical. And, you know, this is just... If you've been following Haunt Weekly for a while, you know the last few seasons have been brutal. 2019, we were closed due to road construction.
Yeah.
2020, we were closed due to COVID, but then got double closed thanks to Hurricane Zeta, which hit New Orleans as a Cat 3 and forced us to take down the yard display super early.
Yeah.
So we didn't even have the trick-or-treating we were planning. And now this in 2021, after we'd already announced our closure due to continued COVID restrictions in the area, COVID surge, we didn't feel comfortable doing it from a safety standpoint. And realistically, there's no legal way we can do it.
Right. And honestly, this is the only thing that we do right now continuously that makes me feel like a haunter still. Because it's been so long since we've been able to just enjoy the season.
Yeah, last year we didn't even go to haunts. I don't know if we're going to haunts this year or not, and especially with the car accident, I don't know. I mean, I just flatly don't know. Yeah. And it's frustrating because, it's like I've been telling other people, other than hurricane, broke foot, car accident, everything's been coming up Millhouse these past few months. Yeah. You got a new job and a promotion. Yeah. I've been doing great in business. Yeah. It's been coming up fucking Millhouse. This has been great other than these 3 things, but that's like saying other than being dead, the patient's in perfect health. Exactly. It's just kind of fucked, you know? So, I don't know. So, we don't know what's going to happen with the art display. I'm sorry about that. I know I still need to get photos of the donation box up. I've got to clean that out some so I can take some photos of it. I'm going to do that hopefully soon. Mm-hmm. But yeah, basically a lot of stuff is up in the air just because this knackered us on probably our most crucial week as far as Halloween goes. Yeah. So anyways, moving on. Mm-hmm. We got a question for y'all, and it's kind of it's kind of an important question because what happened last week with the car accident was the first time we've ever been unable to record an episode in 304 episodes. Yeah. We made it over 300 episodes without missing a single recording, which is impressive. It is. And car accident obviously is the type of thing that we can't prepare for. You know, there's just no way to budget that in. One thing we could do and have talked about is recording some not timely episodes
Mm-hmm.
that we can just slot in if something like that happens. That's something we've considered and may still do. But we're wanting to ask you all what your thoughts are here. How in the future should we handle the rare and exceptional episode like that,
Yeah.
where we can't record for whatever reason? This is the first in 304 episodes. I don't think it's going to be a common thing. One thing we know is that a lot of other podcasts, especially ones that have hundreds of episodes like we do,
Mm-hmm.
will rerun episodes
Yeah.
like we did.
Yeah. And
That's where we got the idea, actually.
yeah, and it's something that I've been thinking about for possible future Octobers, because we are so busy during Octobers whenever we can do all the stuff we normally do, that maybe, and our listeners are too. Our listeners are very busy during season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the idea of rerunning something just during the season makes sense to me.
It does.
But that doesn't have to be
So,
other than like news episodes,
what we're
because news
asking
episodes
you
have to be fresh.
what is your proposed way of handling that? And how would you handle it if you were us?
Yeah.
I'm just curious what your ideas are. If there's something we haven't considered or what you think we should do. So leave a comment on that at facebook.com/hauntweekly, twitter.com/hauntweekly, hauntweekly.com. You can also leave it at youtube.com/hauntweekly as a comment on the video.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And really fast, last week we asked, what are your favorite episodes of Haunt Weekly?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to highlight one very specific response to that, because someone's playing a dangerous fucking game here. And I just want to make sure they know the dangerous game they're playing. Halloween Haunts 365 says, I'm just going to read it aloud because no one's going to believe me if I paraphrase it.
Yeah.
The ones where Jonathan gets hyped up or up over something he's seen or heard that gets him, upsets him. His rants are my favorite. More rants! ! Lol. Okay, you have to understand something. Like, the pillars of my sense of humor
Mm-hmm.
are Mystery Science Theater 3000 / Riff Tracks.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a huge influence to me. Basically, everything George Carlin ever did.
Mm-hmm.
And Dennis Miller Live, the TV show, when it was on in the 90s. And to explain this, Dennis Miller, the comedian, had a TV show called Dennis Miller Live. It was on HBO. It was a late night show meant to compete with like the Tonight Show and whatever. And I know he's become a very different person in 20 years since.
Yeah.
He's not someone I necessarily like right now. But the whole monologue, he would tell a few jokes, and I say, I don't want to get off on a rant here, and then go off on a 10-minute rant.
Yeah.
About whatever was whatever bee in his bonnet that week.
Yeah, and Lewis Black used to do that too.
Yeah, Lewis
and you
Black,
would love his rants.
Lewis Black, Back in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, so rant-based comedy is rampant in my history. And there's actually a game we're going to try playing, I think, next car trip, called Forced Expert, or what is it? What was it called? It was a car game.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The idea was you pick someone in the car and you give them a random topic that they're not an expert on at all,
Mm-hmm.
and force them to go on a 5-minute rant about that topic.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Where they've just got to go off, and it's just them for 5 to 10 minutes, whatever the time limit you said is, and they got to go off on it. And I know I will crush the shit out of that.
Yeah, you are a good bullshitter.
I will crush the fuck out of that whenever it comes time. I am super dangerous in this area. So yeah, rant-based comedy is like super legion in my comedic history. That is super, super dangerous to encourage that behavior. Just so you know. Anyways, so last week we did a replay of episode 200,
Mm-hmm.
which I think was actually very apropos.
Yeah.
It was actually the circumstances sucked, but the outcome was very good in many ways. Because one of the things we wanted to do with episode 300 was do our favorite episodes.
Right.
Reasonable. Let's get a little reflective when the counter ticks over, right?
Yeah. Well,
we did that.
Yeah.
Episode 200.
Yes.
And it was a good episode. You should check it out. It was really, really good. So we're wanting to update and accentuate that list So we're going to focus on the last 100 episodes of Haunt Weekly as we go through this and point out some of our favorite highlights from the last damn near 2 years.
Yeah.
As we go.
And I think this is going to be a tradition for every 100th episode
It really should be. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're doing it twice, so that makes it, tradition.
Well, now we can, if this were yearly, which it's not, it's every 100, it's almost every 2 years, almost biannually.
Yeah.
We could call this annual now.
Right.
Because it's now we've had
That is one of the things you go off on.
Yes, it is. You can't call something annual until you've had the second one, motherfucker. That doesn't exist. You can't say the first annual. No, first annual doesn't exist, motherfucker. English. Do you speak it?
They do not.
They do not.
The people who say that do not.
That's your mini
not
rant for this episode.
Yes.
That is something, I don't know why that chaps my ass as hard as it does, but it does.
It does. It really does.
I'm very weird. Normally I'm very flexible and cool with like grammar things and all that. Mm-hmm. But it's like, do not say first annual anything. Do not misuse the word decimate in my presence. Yeah. Because that will set me right the fuck off. And actually, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. Everything else I'm pretty chill about.
Yeah.
I don't get involved in other grammar debates. But seriously, decimate. We have so many words that mean destroy. You can list like 5 that start with D, for the love of God. You don't have to use decimate. Decimate has a very specific meaning. It's deci. It means 10. 10. 1/10 of something is destroyed. I'm okay now. Now. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we're each going to do, sort of going back and forth, talk about our favorite episodes from the last 100, and then we're going to each pick one that is our most useful episode, mm-hmm. and then we're going just to have some fun and pick a few things from the back catalog and discuss those.
Yes.
Sound good?
We will not be mentioning guest episodes.
I threw one in.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right, so we're going to be mentioning one.
But it's not meant as a slight to the other guests.
No. Our guest episodes are wonderful, and there's a whole playlist of them at YouTube.
Yes, I will say this. The guest episode I picked, I would have picked even without the guest.
Okay.
Even if just we had discussed it.
That's fair. That's a fair
because the topic
then.
To me is that important and heavy.
Yeah.
And I was glad to get it out there.
Okay.
That's the reason I picked it. All right, so Crystal, you're up first.
I am. These are our top 5 episodes in the last 100.
And there's not a particular order or anything like that.
No. And we kind of just,
winged it.
picked some topics for our favorites.
Yeah, go for it.
So episode 291, event planning for haunts. This is my day job, or at least a large part of it. I learn something every time I do an event, and I apply it to haunting. And it's something that can really ease the haunt stress if you're good at it.
Yeah, I like this episode too. I think it was a very good choice by you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been one of my 5, but I know your connection to it's why it's yours.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense you would include it. But no, you're absolutely right, is that haunters, and one thing I've noticed about haunted attractions in general, is that they do season.
Yeah.
They shutter, and then they really don't think about things other than if something like went really wrong.
Yeah.
Then they deal with it. But, that's just it. You should be dealing with the things that went just a little bit wrong too, and doing those post-mortems and things. And
mm-hmm.
And right now, in the middle of season, it's not the best time to have this conversation. But yeah, it's a great episode and one I would listen to.
And actually, this is something, because this is the way my mind works, that helped me in the accident. Because I had previously thought, what if I'm in an accident and I can't get to my phone? How do I contact Jonathan to let him know in 911? And I used my watch because my phone is broken.
No, we have to discuss this. I'm sorry. I know we promised not to talk more about the accident, but this is just fucking amazing. And I have to have someone else acknowledge this. Okay? You had the phone on the seat beside you. You were alone in the car.
Yeah.
You had the phone on the seat beside you.
Right.
It ended up ping-ponging around the fucking cabin after you got slammed.
Yes.
And ended up at your feet. Fine. That part makes sense to me.
Yes.
What does not make sense is that your phone is completely unbroken other than the tiny fucking home button.
Yes.
So we both have iPhone SE 2020s. We like smaller phones, so that was a natural choice for us. Other than the home button, your phone is perfectly fine.
Yeah, but it was stuck and I couldn't unlock it, and I had run through the scenario before in my brain, because that's how my brain works. If there is something going on and I can't use my phone, how do I contact people?
Yeah, and you contacted us, Ellie and I, so we could get to you.
And 911 via the watch.
Yeah, that was very impressive. But yeah, how do you break just the home button?
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
My first one is episode 282, 30 Tips for New Haunters. This was just a fun episode, and I still think also a very useful one. I love a good list episode.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for lists.
You are.
I really am. I mean, like, half of my YouTube viewing is fucking lists, so it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that I'm going to have a list episode here. Mm-hmm. But it was such a great episode, and it was so fast-paced. And I really do think it was a useful episode for New Haunters, which is a group we're trying to reach out to.
Right.
So yeah, I think that was a good episode.
Okay, my next episode is episode 273, Revisiting Crowdfunding. We got this wrong the first time.
Yeah.
We absolutely did. And times had changed, and we tried to right or wrong with this one, and learning and updating from mistakes is important to growth.
Yeah.
And that's, how you grow with anything. If you make a mistake in your haunt, then you learn from it. You don't say, oh, I'm so bad and I can't learn anything from this and it's a disaster and I'll never do it again. You just learn from it and you move on, Yeah,
and I agree with that. That was such a good episode for us because, like I said, we talked about it, and a lot of it was, I think it was the Cyanide Happiness people posted a thing about crowdfunding.
Yes.
And why they chose to do it, even though they had the money theoretically just to launch.
Right.
And the focus on the crowd, not the funding. And it made us think about it in a new way.
Yeah.
And unlike a lot of people, we are capable of taking in new information and changing our opinion.
Yes.
And that is exactly what we did. I don't necessarily think that crowdfunding is right for all haunts, or maybe even most haunts, but we definitely found situations where it could be super useful, and I'm glad about that.
Yeah.
All right. The one where I cheated a little, I'm sorry, I forgot we had a rule.
It is a really important one.
But it's so important, and it's such a good episode. And honestly, the topic and everything, even if it had just been the two of us, I'd have put it in there anyway.
Yeah.
Paul Lanier is great, and he was an amazing guest. All the guests we had were amazing. I can't think any guest that totally fluffed it.
No.
No, all of our guests were amazing and great, but the topic is so hits so close to home for us, and so important. It's episode 268, Haunters Against Hate. We sat there with Paul Lanier of Haunters Against Hate talking about the issue of hate in the haunt industry, how he got started with this project, and how it's really evolved.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. And also we got to learn, happy birthday, Paul!
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday! I hope you're enjoying your birthday. So yeah, but no, that was such an important episode. And because of the LGBTQ-ness of our relationship and our family and people we know, it just hit so close to home. I couldn't not put it in.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
That is fair. Episode 254, The History of Pepper's Ghost. You actually wrote the show notes for this one.
Yes, I did. And I was going to put this in the favorite one to write.
Yeah.
Because of that, but since you put it here, I didn't.
Oh, that's fine.
But no, the thing about this episode was, this is probably one of my 2 or 3 favorite aside episodes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Deep dive episodes. What do you want to call these?
Deep dives works.
Because we have this one. We have the Headless Horseman, which comes up later. The Christmas Demons one.
Right.
We have a handful, maybe 6.
That took a lot of research
we just went off the rails, researched the topic until we were bleeding from the eyes. This was one of them.
Yeah, and I
this
think
was a surprisingly fun one.
Yeah, and I think this all started with the Haunted Mansion. Talking about it and because you've been to it, and I have not, so I can only go through, you know.
Well, in a moment of absolute irony or aproposness here, we watched Muppets Haunted Mansion last night.
We did, and last week while I was on painkillers laid up in bed, I watched
The Eddie
Murphy one.
So
Which
yeah,
was
no,
not bad.
but no, I really enjoyed researching this one. I really enjoyed talking about it because when we first came up with the idea, I felt 100% certain it was a bullshit idea and there was not enough history there.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
There is way more than enough history there.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, it's called Pepper's Ghost and not the Phantasmagoria or whatever the fuck the original name was.
Yeah.
Because thank you is the reason.
Yes, we're just gonna name it after you, the guy.
The second person.
Yes, the second person who actually, figured it out more.
Well, he was the one that made it functional.
Yeah.
In like small, regular environments.
Exactly.
The original guy, they like yeet the stage and do all this. It was just too much. And the second guy, Dr. Pepper. I'm just calling him Dr. Pepper now because it's funny. I forgot his name, but it's Dr. Pepper to me.
Yeah, it's Pepper.
His last name is Pepper. Yeah. That is true. But no, he just came up with a way that could retrofit it into any theater. And that was what made it spread like wildfire. It was his adjustment to it.
Yeah.
So he had an important role.
He
It's
did.
not like he didn't do shit.
No.
All right. My next episode, a similar one, another deep dive. This one you researched.
I did.
We're just like giving cred to each other here without meaning to.
Yeah.
It's episode 255, the next episode even.
Yeah.
We were on a good run there, weren't we?
Yeah.
The Headless Horseman. Damn, this was so fun. Because I had always thought, personally growing up with like the Disney cartoon and other stuff and all that, I thought the Sleepy Hollow Headless Horseman was the Headless Horseman in the story.
Yeah.
Hails to the no.
No. It gets so much better when you look at where it starts in the other countries.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this. If you go back and listen to the episode or at least read the notes and click the links. Our Headless Horseman sucks in the United States.
Yeah.
Ours is a little bitch. The Irish one, right? It's Ireland, I think, had the really good one.
I think so.
My God. It's like the legend, like, that was the one that had the whip made of spinal bones and stuff. It's like,
yeah,
our Headless Horseman kind of sucks, alright? He's a little bit naff. I mean, compared to the other legends of Headless Horsemen. So it was so cool to be able to talk about them and shine a light just on this very, very weird, but yet very specific urban legend that seems to exist across multiple cultures.
And yes, it was Ireland, and it was the Dullahan.
The Dullahan, thank you. I was trying to remember the name, but yeah. He is so cool. Why don't we have him in our culture? Mm-hmm. We invented just a guy on a horse who throws his head, which is a very bad strategy if you think about it.
Yeah.
And they have a guy as a Headless Horseman who keeps his head on a satchel beside him and has a fucking whip made out of spinal bones.
Yeah.
We got to step up here. Come on. Next up.
All right. Episode 207, How to Raise Prices Without Angering Customers. I put this in because it's an important topic because we all, setting your original price, raising your prices when you need to, are things that businesses struggle with in general.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to talk about it. And I know that we've been angered by price increases, but that's because it's like an annual increase every year.
I actually, like, the haunt I know that most angered us was the mortuary here. And we actually made a spreadsheet because we actually buy our tickets online every year. So we have the receipts every year we went. Mm-hmm. And we tracked the price increases and noted that, they've gone up at like 2x the rate of inflation.
Yeah, exactly.
And something like that. It was like crazy. And the problem they were having was, as we were talking about that episode, they were doing nothing to obscure it, nothing to hide it, and nothing really to alleviate it.
Yeah, nothing to do that and no explanation for it.
No explanation. There was no communication over it. It was just, oh yeah, we're open this year, and by the way, tickets are now $25. They were 20, now they're 25. Why? Fuck you. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I wasn't going to call him out like that, but yeah.
Well, we
Yeah,
called them out in the
they.
episode, so if these
Oh,
nice
okay.
people go listen to the episode, they'll get that out. But no, that was
That's
the one that
true.
got us thinking about it.
It is.
And that was the question was, okay, we agree that, prices have to go up. How you do it without causing that reaction?
Right.
And I pulled from my marketing background. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I got a degree in advertising. And you pulled from your experience too. And we came up with some good suggestions on how to actually raise your prices. Because I remember I worked the ticket booth at a haunt. And I was there. The price had gone up from $10 to $13. This was still a super cheap haunt.
Yeah.
They were not an expensive haunt
Mm-hmm.
by any stretch. And it was a good long walkthrough. So you were getting your fucking money's worth. No doubt about it in my book. $13, they probably could have gone up to $15.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, 13, I know it's cool because Unlucky 13
Yeah.
is a really bitchin' number. But 13 is a motherfucker if you're in a ticket booth.
Yeah.
That is a goddamn bear. I had to bring a sheet. 1 equals 13, 2 equals 26, 3 equals 39, so I could give people the correct price. Because you try multiplying by 13, okay?
Yeah.
It's not easy. Especially when you get like 5 people show up at once. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. I had to make that sheet. But it's like, So yeah, but I remember people like, it was 10 last year.
Mm-hmm.
And no one communicated to me, the ticket booth operator, the reason for the price increase.
Right.
So I had nothing to say.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my next favorite episode, this one barely in under the wire. Episode 203, our Texas haunt trip. We went and did a Houston haunt trip, and I absolutely love the way the haunt community reacts to this trip because we post in every haunt group we can, hey, we're going to Houston, what haunts do we have to hit? We get suggestions, we collate them, we map them out, we figure out the ones we can hit in nights, and we make it work, and we do it. We kick ass, and we do it.
Yeah.
And then we get back, and everyone's like, oh, you went to the wrong haunts.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck all y'all.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all. Y'all the ones that told us to go there.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, but it was a very, very interesting trip. I would not say it's my favorite haunt trip.
No.
My favorite haunt trip, I can't compare the two because they're so different. But like Atlanta and Chicago,
Yeah.
like Lost Souls is my favorite. Great haunts and a great tour guide. But
Yeah,
Atlanta,
and-
I get the sense of personal pride because I planned that shit and it worked.
Yeah, exactly. And we even added some in along the way. We just did some spontaneous
No.
visits.
Yeah, I think on average I enjoyed the haunts in Chicago better, but we cheated. We had Japes as our tour guide.
Yeah, and that took a lot of the pressure off, and that's definitely the way that if more cities did haunted house bus tours like that, like Lost Souls,
Oh yeah,
I would
absolutely.
definitely just go to
I'm a
those
fan of the
cities.
concept, and I'm a fan of Lost Souls.
Yeah.
By the way, had a special weekend this week. We didn't get a chance. We found out about it too late to put it in an
Right.
episode. But they had a special weekend this week. They're not running this year due to COVID and the idea that getting a bunch of people on a bus during COVID times is a bad fucking idea.
Right.
But they are doing a special discount weekend where you can go from one haunt to the other, and then that was Saturday. It was really cool. Unfortunately, we found out about it too late to get it into the previous episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, the Houston trip was probably our most educational haunt trip.
Definitely. Yeah.
I think that is the fairest. There's no haunt on that list I would put my favorite haunts. I'm sorry, Houston
No.
haunts. But it was very educational, both in terms of pricing, structure, organization of haunts.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of very good lessons learned on that trip.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And that was why that is one of my favorite episodes, because that gives us a lot to talk about
Mm-hmm.
and a lot to discuss, which is what we did in that episode.
Yeah.
It was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
203, our Texas haunt trip.
All right. Next up from me is episode 230, and this is my last one for this piece
Section.
of it. This section of it. 230, haunting and chronic conditions. We have multiple actors who have chronic physical limitations.
Yeah, I guess I technically do now too.
Yeah, you do. And we, build around them, and we talked with people about how to, build for for actors with limitations.
Yeah.
And I think it's important.
It was an important episode, and I think we did a really good job with it based on our experiences. Because the thing is, I know we deal with a smaller crew than like most pro haunts, but percentage-wise, the actors we have with chronic conditions is probably much higher than in any pro haunt.
Yeah.
Just through sheer numbers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a good topic, an important one, and yeah. I can't argue the point.
Yeah, it's, you don't have to say, sorry, we can't, accommodate you. You can't work here. No, you can find places for them.
I agree. And my last one for this list, going back to the opposite end of the 200s, mm-hmm. Episode 295, Lessons from City Museum. I really enjoyed City Museum. I had a great time, even if I nearly fucking died.
Yes.
I mean...
We are too old for City Museum.
We're way too fucking old for this shit. But, at the same time, I go through there with a haunter's mindset. Mm-hmm. And I loved it from that perspective. I loved a lot of the things that they were doing. Things haunts should adopt. Things haunts should not adopt.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of good lessons, both positive and negative, for haunters. And it was really, really cool to be able to not only share the fun memories we had from City Museum, mm-hmm. but also to be able to impress the lessons. Because, like I said, that is a place that if you go through it with a haunter's eye, you're going to learn stuff.
Yeah. They do a very good job immersing you in the different situations.
Yeah. And there are things they could do a lot better. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted. They're not perfect. And I know some of it is intentional. But yeah, you should never be want for a sign for a bathroom.
Right.
That type of thing. Which does happen in City Museum. But the things they got right, they got so right. And I realized after we left there that, yeah, we paid a pretty steep ticket price. Mm-hmm. But most of the money we spent was elsewhere in the museum.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just something to think about. All right, so this brings up to us, blah, 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 fucking blah. This brings us to our next chapter in this episode. What do we think is our most useful episode from the last 100?
Yeah.
And you have me going first on this one. You laid out the show notes. I'm just following along. I chose episode 287, prop-based layout. And the reason, this might be a weird one for a lot of reasons, but basically, this is something that a lot of haunts are doing increasingly, even if they don't realize it, mm-hmm. as a way of opening up spaces but keeping the walkthrough confined, using props, using scene elements to route people rather than using the walls. And this is something that I'm very, very fond of, especially when you do mix and match layout, because this way you can have your claustrophobic tiny rooms, mm-hmm. but then it can open up and have a larger space, but the walkthrough can still be just as long and just as snake-like with it. And so we talked about that in this episode. I think prop-based layout is going to be probably the biggest layout revolution in haunting over the next 10 years. Yeah. As more and more haunts take it up, and we did a good job covering it. I'm happy with how we handled it.
Okay.
And yours?
Episode 285, PR for haunters. We discussed the difference between advertising and PR, because there is a huge difference. Mm-hmm. There's lots of good tips about how to get your name into the hands of journalists and other media people. Mm-hmm. And I seriously think this is our area of expertise, because you have done an amazing job keeping up.
Oh yeah, and oddly enough, I've done too good. Mm-hmm. Because we're getting calls daily if we're open. Yeah. And I have trying to deal with...
And they started in May.
Yeah, they started way early. I've been getting daily calls. I'm getting really frustrated by it, to be honest with you. Because I've gone through Google, I've gone through Facebook, I've gone through every presence we have and said we're closed for the year. Mm-hmm. And they're still calling.
Yeah.
I got 2 calls today when we were at the bar.
Yeah.
Hanging out and just chilling and enjoying the end of the weekend, So it's frustrating, but yeah, this is something we're definitely good at, and something I think haunters in general, especially haunt owners, need to get better at. My advice is obviously mid-season. This ain't the time. It's too late for 2021.
Yeah.
I would put this episode in your back pocket and listen to it in November or December.
Yeah.
And start hatching the plan on how you're going to apply the lessons we talk about come next year. Because, truth be told, January, February, March, all that time is the best time to get this stuff in place.
Yeah. And, that's something that it's something that advertising companies don't really discuss because they're about building brand, and not a lot of advertising companies offer PR services.
No, even really good ones, and even ones that are tailored to the haunt industry don't offer this.
Yeah, and PR is something that is cheap to implement.
Yeah, it's virtually no cost if you do it right.
Yeah.
And that one of the reasons like advertising companies don't do it is because advertising companies are all about total control of the message, which is something you lose with PR because ultimately it's the journalist, ultimately it's whoever's the Google, whoever the middle person is there will decide what the actual message is. So advertising companies don't like doing PR for that reason. But it is so important. It is so valuable. And yeah, it's something we've done very, very well. We don't spend a lot on advertising, but dear God, we get a lot of attention. And your episode. Oh, that was your episode. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're in a new category now.
Yes.
Okay, the next question. What episode do you have the most fun writing? Crystal, you are next, though. Seriously.
Yes. For me is episode 55, Christmas Demons. This is the first holiday researched episode, and it started a tradition for me. And I love researching all the really deep dives that I've been a part of. And it's so fun. I'm actually researching one right now, but that'll be in a couple of weeks.
Sounds great. Yeah, it was a good episode. And it really, like I said, those deep dive episodes. I think we've listed most of the deep dive episodes over the course of this.
I don't think so, but we've listed our highlights.
We listed a lot. But no, it was a really, really good episode to learn more about Krampus, to learn more about that type of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Mine, since, you took away, unintentionally took away the one about Pepper's ghost, I had to change it up. Episode 123. 123 Kid. Copyright and haunting. I work in copyright as my day job, copyright and plagiarism. IP is my day job. Somehow, some way, in some universe, it took us 123 episodes to actually do this fucking topic.
I know.
So it was really a great relief to get it done once we realized we had not acted. That should have been like episode 3.
I know. It really should have been.
Not 123, it should have been 3.
Yeah.
But somehow, no, it was 123. But still, it's a topic I know well, so it's very important for haunters, and it's one I did enjoy. And I especially enjoyed focusing just on copyright with that episode, because yes, I've given IP talks at HauntCon and Halloween and Haunt Fest and other haunters conventions, but that's always been copyright and trademark, doing both.
Right.
Rather than a deeper dive into copyright, which made me happy because my trademark foo is not nearly as good as my copyright foo.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there. All right. Big question, y'all. What is the favorite episode of all time? No holds barred, nothing disallowed. What is our favorite episode after 305? And it's interesting, we both chose something from the first 100 episodes.
Yeah.
For me, it was another guest episode, but it was a guest episode of amazing proportions and everything that went into it. But it was episode 87, Raven's Grin End, where we got to sit down with Jim Warfield. Fucking legend.
Yeah.
I don't have much to add to it. I mean, I still consider it my greatest accomplishment with this podcast that we got Jim Warfield to sit in a room, in a chair, for an hour and talk on one topic.
I would love to see him on Taskmaster.
Oh, dear God, no, you do not want to see him on...
I would.
He will either 5-star everything or 1-star. I'm not sure which. It's not going to be anything in the middle.
And it may, vary per episode, but per task. But yeah. No, that is a really good episode.
And I love the story behind how we did it, because we went to St. Louis with Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
And while she spent the rest of the weekend with her son, we rented a car and made the hugely long drive to Mount Carroll, Illinois, staying at the only hotel in town.
Yeah.
We went to Ravenscraft on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesdays, he was closed then. So we interviewed him on a Wednesday. And just everything about that was crazy and bonkers. And it's such a good interview. But yeah, I mean, honestly, once again, going with, I know we were not doing, supposed to be doing guest episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, if we just did 87 talking about Raven's Grin Inn and that experience,
Yeah.
it'd probably still be on here. But Jim Warfield, of course, adds a whole other layer to it and makes it even more amazing and just pushes it over the top for me.
Yeah.
And then yours, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by it too. Episode 53, parking. Seriously, we had so much feedback on this. What the actual fuck, guys? But
Yeah.
it
Yeah, you gotta realize that episode 53, we've never made much effort in growing our presence.
no.
Not really. And then the reason is we do this as an avocation. This is fun. This is something to keep us haunting. It's almost therapy for us. You can think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, we fundamentally assumed no one was listening,
Yeah.
or next to no one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we assumed there were like 5 people listening. We knew all their names.
Yeah,
You know?
pretty much.
And then episode 53 hits, and holy shit snacks! The universe lets us know.
Yeah, there are more than 5 people listening. And it's also, a very mundane topic.
Yeah.
So it was surprising how many people cared about it.
Yeah.
And that led to us talking about other mundane topics in the future that are important, but they're nitpicky stuff.
Yeah, it was a super, like you said, it was a super pedestrian subject.
Yeah.
It was not something that's like the glamorous side of haunting. We're not talking about how to distress a wall or how to apply your clown makeup or whatever.
Mm-mm.
We're talking about goddamn parking, having a place for people to put their fucking cars.
Yeah.
And that ignited probably the biggest debate we've seen.
Yeah.
But also, we got the most thanks,
Yeah.
oddly enough, for that, because it was something a lot of haunts were apparently struggling with, and we were one of the few to talk about it. Like, I know locally, I'm trying to think, none of the haunts other than Rise have parking on premise at all.
No, they don't.
13th Gate has the lot underneath the bridge, which is not technically theirs, but serves as theirs, I guess, and the casino lot. Mortuary is in the center of goddamn downtown New Orleans with street parking.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck with that. And New Orleans Nightmare is in it's an unincorporated JP, but it's in the middle of a warehouse district area where parking is catch can too.
Yeah.
And these are always...
And you have to park way far away to walk to that one.
So, like, one of the reasons we haven't been going to haunts is because I broke my foot.
Yeah.
And even though I'm fairly ambulatory, I'm getting around reasonably well, I don't know how well a half-a-mile hike through that terrain would do me.
Exactly.
I'm a little bit antsy about taking those kinds of walks just because, I'm getting around really good and my foot's healed a lot and it's much, much better. But after a half a mile or so, it will start hurting. And then I've got to walk through the haunt.
Yeah.
So, it's a serious issue. Haunting, I mean, parking is a serious overhead to attending a haunted house. And I think we may have actually been the first to talk about it.
Yeah.
We may literally have been, at least in any kind of forum.
Just because we gripe about it so much when we go to haunts.
Yeah, I mean, and then because that's what we do. I mean, that's one of the things we do is we're always looking for pain points in the experience.
Yeah, and our pain points episode was
another
really
good one too, and it didn't get listed by either of us.
Right.
But it wasn't in the last 100, and
yeah,
but no, the pain points episode also mentioned parking too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, other than we're always looking for those pain points, we're always trying to find ways to smooth over those rough edges. And one of the first things we ran across in our heads was parking, Because how many haunts, locally and elsewhere, have we been to where that has been a major pain point?
There are very few that I can think of that have it right.
Yeah. Rise has it right.
Yeah.
Rise actually has it really good, I think. They have about as good as a haunt can get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little confusing, but it's not bad.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Netherworld fucking sucked, but we were at the old location.
Yeah, for parking.
Yeah, for parking.
Not the haunt.
For parking, it fucking sucked. But
Yeah.
for everything else, it was amazing. The haunt's amazing. But the parking, was naff.
Yeah, exactly.
Camp Blood, we had to park by a country road. That was not fun.
Darkwoods has on-site parking.
They do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, they do, but across the street, because...
No, it's not across the street.
No, you're thinking Darkwood's not Fright Trail. I'm thinking Fright Trail.
Yeah, you have to go up like a steep hill to get to it, but it's there.
Yeah, they do have on-site parking, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, I had Fright Trail in my head, because, like, the parking's not that bad, but you have to cross the street after buying your ticket, which is just weird.
It is.
So, yeah, parking. If your parking's naff, it hurts your haunt. There you go. I've summarized the episode for you.
Exactly.
But anyways, on that note, thank you very much for joining us, and I'm very, very glad that Crystal is okay and well. Please, any suggestions for a good car to buy, especially one that's like lightly or gently used? We don't buy new cars. We don't do new cars around these parts. So we're looking for something ideally a couple of years old. Please let us know. I'd love to hear your suggestions and thoughts from other haunters who understand the needs we have better than a car dealer might.
Yes.
Because if we go to a car dealer and say, yeah, we need a car that can hold 10-foot PVC and 8-foot 2x4s, they're going to look at us like we got turds hanging out of our mouth.
How many plastic skeletons can I fit in this trunk?
How many pool noodles that's going to hold?
Do the seats lay down?
So yeah, your suggestions would be greatly appreciated so we can actually go in with our eyes wide open on this. Let us know at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/hauntweekly is the YouTube channel. Please, please, please check out all the wonderful episodes we discussed there. You can also find us at Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher. And most weeks, Sunday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, we do these live. Hopefully, if there are no more fucking car accidents, we'll be back on the regular schedule next week for those.
Yeah.
But until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
This has been episode 306 of Haunt Weekly, talking about our favorite episodes of the past 100. We will see you all next week.